Let's talk about the next section, which is the cost of it when it goes wrong. So you were paying 1099 for weeks, months, years, probably years, and then somehow you get found out. The most likely ways to get found out are driver complaints are number one, unemployment claims are number two, and work comp things are number three. For example, you have a driver gets in an accident and needs to be brought to a hospital via an ambulance. They're gonna right away when you pull in there, the hospital already knows that this was a work-related incident, and it's the first thing they ask. Whenever you go to the hospital, if you ever had to have been admitted to the hospital or gone to the ER, they ask you, "Is this a work-related incident?" Because they get to bill more money for that. And if you don't have coverage for the driver, that's unlimited, which work comp generally is unlimited. They're gonna see that, look, you came out on an ambulance, you came from a truck, here's a police report. They're gonna know it's work-related. You can't just have them try and hit their Medicare or hit their own health insurance for it. But here's, so that's a cost too, by the way. But misclassification could trigger a lot of things. First of all, there's all the payroll taxes you should have paid. The Social Security match, the Medicare match, the state and federal unemployment. There's penalties and interest. And those are going to be at least as much, because now you're into fraud things, as it'll be more than the tax. Even a year in, it's going to be more than the tax. We made a whole infographic about it, and it's like 200% of the tax plus the interest, because there's the failure to file, the failure to pay, the failure to do it right, the fraud penalty, all that stuff. You could be looking at class action lawsuits. Be looking at your insurance carrier will cancel you like that day, and they'll cancel all of it, not just your work comp. They'll cancel your liability too, which means you're going to lose your authority. And you could also really have personal liability to the owner. You might think, well, I have a corporation or I have an LLC, and that limits my liability to the assets of the business, which it does, except for a personal negligence, which this would be classified as very likely by the other side's attorney. So you can't really walk away from it. So you really want to avoid this. So if you get caught, and again, the bigger you are, the more likely you are to get caught. You really want to watch